So somebody actually, somebody in my comments just like randomly mentioned this to me. Jikish. I don't know too much about this guy. I do like this content creator though, Jaden. Oh, he grew a lot. Good for him. I like this guy. Every time I watch him, like I haven't had like a criticism that he doesn't include enough information. He's pretty short, sweet, concise. So I'm gonna watch this video. I'm just curious about what's going on because somebody said some like, listen, in one of my comments, somebody's like, I think we might have a new worst predator. This guy named Jikish apparently groomed a 12-year-old and has had over 10 accusers. Okay, that's...
She was exposed. Now, if you don't know who Jikishi is, they were a popular Minecraft streamer who's recently added to the Dream SMP, and a lot of people seem to really like them. And I've actually known of Jikishi for a while. We were once even in the same content creator group, The Empire. So it was really cool to see them be.
It looks like he removed his hold on, sorry, I just want to see. Oh yeah, looks like he removed his Twitch.
Be invited to the Dream SMP. I watched this guy's dreams come true. So I was completely shocked to find out that Jikishi had groomed multiple minors. Recently, okay,
I gotta look at that then, I guess. Because I gotta, so and I'm not saying that he didn't groom anybody. I have to look into the information. Okay, here we go. I have to look into the information myself because a lot of times people will like use loaded language. I'm not saying that they're wrong, but I always gotta make sure that I look into it myself just to make sure. My experience. Let's see. Is there more? Here.
a couple people came out with twitlongers detailing their experiences with Jikishi. So just a slight correction, it wasn't just 2 people. Over 10 individuals have come out against Jikishi. Now, I'm not going to be going over these twitlongers in this video, so if you do want to read them, I'll link them in the description down below. But basically, when Jikishi was between the ages of 18 and 20, he had groomed a 13 and a 14-year-old.
Yeah,
now,
it's inexcusable.
All of this happened around 2016 and 2018. So this guy has gotten away with this for almost 6 years. And a small channel had attempted to expose him in 2020 and no one believed it. And I'm gonna be honest, when I first saw these allegations, I wasn't sure what to think. I was just waiting for Jikishi or someone in the Dream SMP to make some sort of response because I just couldn't understand how someone could get away with something like this for so long. And Jikishi honestly didn't seem to be this kind of person. But then Dream tweeted out this on his private account, pretty much confirming everything. Removed Demetrius, which is Jikishi's real name, from the SMP
for gross accusations. Okay.
For gross accusations.
He also confirmed privately they were accurate. Okay. Well. Okay. So apparently these aren't even accusations anymore, according to Dream himself, because he confirmed them. So this is the thing. These are all true based on what this says here.
Accusations
I'm gonna watch them after this video's over.
Were accurate. No questions, no toleration, disgusted, and incredibly disappointed. Will never let things like this stop me from trying to uplift members of the community and smaller content creators as part of what makes our community great. So stick together, be there for people who need it, and always be safe online. Love you. And for some reason, some people were actually blaming Dream for Jikishi's actions, saying that he should have vetted this guy more than he did. Which,
I mean, it's hard to. I mean, like, listen. I don't know how you would do that. I don't know how you would vet that out. Ideally,
I just find
sure.
Disgusting. This is not Dream's fault. He had no way of knowing that Jikishi had done these things. No one knew this. There was some random video with 400 views from a year ago that no one took seriously. That was all that was out there.
That's fucked up. See, this is what I'm talking about, though. Like, honestly, like, I'm gonna start trying to like point this out so people understand what I'm saying. Okay, so this person, Jikishi, did a bad thing and nobody believed the accuser because well, how can we believe this? Jikishi's such a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? He's a good guy. You see how it happens here? Took a whole year for people to come out and say something that was confirmed to be true, apparently through Dream from Jikishi said they were all true. Because, well, he's such a good guy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Dream took a chance with this guy, invited him to the Dream SMP, and it turns out Jikishi was this horrible person behind the scenes. I honestly feel bad for Dream, and I am just so
I don't feel bad for Dream. I mean, this is just part of the thing. I feel bad for the people that he took advantage of.
Tired of these influencers abusing their power and hurting innocent people. How could you do something like this and continue to get up in the morning knowing what you've done? This guy did this for over 6 years and joined the Dream SMP. And
You know what kind of bothers me? I'm gonna go off a little bit of tangent. Is that okay? And we're gonna talk about Keemstar real quick. Listen, I'm not saying Keemstar has to cover this stuff. I know he said he's retiring, which we'll look into that later. But my thing is that if you were going to like, there's a lot of sexual assault shit going on. Tons of people are being called out for doing this stuff. And I understand why you wouldn't want to get involved in it because it can get very, like, icky. But I know Keemstar's retiring, and one of the things he said is, I remember listening, he's like, oh, there's really nothing going on. Everything's just sexual assault shit. And it's like, well, why not cover that? That's important. Why not cover that? Like, why not make that your new thing that you talk about on your platform?
And expected all of this to stay buried. This guy's a predator. Over 10 people have come out. I can't stress enough how insane that is. He even victimized one of his own friends. That's how sick this guy was. And it's just so weird how only a few hours ago, I was happy for this person to see someone from the same community that I had come from achieve their dreams like that. It was inspirational. And then I find out who this person really is. Out of everything that I've ever covered on this channel, this has probably affected me the most. I was supposed to finish this video like 4 hours ago, but I just couldn't. I just sat there watching more and more allegations come out against this person. He had so many people rooting for him, wanting him to succeed, but little
never mind, actually. Like, it's so stupid. Kind of funny.
Did they know what he was? Jikishi, if you are watching this, what is wrong with you? Why did you ever think that this was okay? I haven't shown any of the messages in this video because they're disgusting. They're sickening. I guess I just want to end off this video by saying to any of Jikishi's victims or
Keemstar probably doesn't want to talk about it because he's already a known rape apologist. People won't take him back. Honestly, yeah, you got a good point.
Any victims of this sort of...
Yeah, like, he exaggerated the Call Me Carson situation, but he underplays the Jake Paul situation. You know, and like, I'm not saying Jake Paul did it, but like, he didn't say like, oh, I don't want to talk about these accusations because like it's very messy. He like started making jokes like, how could you even get assaulted in the mouth? It's like, close your mouth, fight back. It's like, wow. You're dumb.
If you need help, please reach out to people and don't be afraid to share your stories. People like this, they don't deserve your sympathy. They don't deserve your protection because they're sick. And I want you to know that you're not alone. So yeah, these are just my thoughts on this entire situation, and I'm not even gonna finish my outro. I'm just disgusted. This guy is horrible.
I'm not gonna finish the outro. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but it's like
I'm just disgusted. This guy is horrible.
I'm sorry. It was just like we were talking about a serious topic and then we blasted onto like a fucking crazy thing. I'm not criticizing him. It just kind of hit me for a loop. Anyway, this is what he linked it. Jaden linked this in his thread here. I know he had TikTok. This isn't relevant right now. Okay, so this is apparently a thread of all of Jikishi's victim stories. So let's see the first thread here. Let's read through some of these things. Oh, this is a fucking lot. Hopefully there's nothing super inappropriate in here. Okay. This is a lot. Okay, let's do it. My story and experience with Demetrius Jikishi. I honestly never thought I would ever share my story publicly like this. This is something I hate to have to do. But I feel like I should and need to speak out about my experience with Demetrius/Jikishi in light of recent events. You know, one of the really fucked up things that it is like you'll have somebody like Jikishi who will do something terrible. And again, Dream confirmed that it was terrible. Apparently he admitted it. So there's not even speculation that he did this. This is all facts. Okay? And it's so fucked up that somebody will take advantage and predatorize somebody, and then they'll be successful. And like, it forces an assault survivor, or I don't know if they got assaulted, but like a grooming survivor, we'll say, to have to come forward to show people how bad of a person this person is. You know, because you're basically pressuring. This person felt pressured to do the right thing, which is a good thing that they did. A lot of these people did it. And you know, you never should have to feel forced to come out about your assault or your you know, you being taken advantage of. And it's like a terrible thing. This is going to be hard, and I'm scared, but I can't stay silent and watch him gain a platform of other young girls this could possibly happen to. This is the thing, is like, when you get away with doing shit for so long, you get better at doing it, and that's one of the problems too. This all started in October 2016 when I was 13 and he was 17. I met him through Minecraft and a mutual friend. We started talking and progressively got close. We talked every day and eventually started dating in December of 2016. Long story short, we broke up on March 2017 and stopped talking for a while. Bro, you know what's like fucking disgusting? is it like 13 and 17? Like, I will usually defend 4-year age gaps in some capacity because, like, it's legal. Although I don't know the legalities of 13. I think it might be under 14. But I'm like, honestly, I'm fucking tired of it. Like, well, this is usually what I'll say. I say, like, listen, 4-year age gaps are usually, like, legal. Although I don't think 13 and 17 is. And so while I think it's absolutely disgusting, since, like, there's a legality there, I won't be too harsh. But, like, I'm really tired of it. Like, I'm honestly tired of it. Like, with 13 and 17-year-olds, like, 20 and 16 is gross. I could apply it to that, but 13 and 17, like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Like, you're literally in high school, and this is a kid in, like, what, fucking middle school? Like, I don't get it. Yeah, it's a senior dating a fucking middle schooler. It's like, I'm so tired of it. It's just insane. We talked every day. I wonder what, I have to look into the law specifically. But like, there's no way that 13, 17 can even be legal. And there's no way that you could be like okay with it. That you're like, yeah, that was fun. What the fuck? Whatever. We talked every day and eventually started dating and whatever. Long story short, we broke up. They were dating in 2016. Long story, we broke up in March 2017. So they did it for like 3 or 4 months. Yeah, right. Like, it's one thing for somebody to date some, I don't know. It's just fucking gross. Let's see, they talk about it for 3 or 4 months. We started talking again in January 2018 and became even closer than we were before. We were best friends, and he was there for me when nobody else was. He made me feel safe. I trusted him. Truly believed he cared about me. Our relationship turned from best friends to sexual real quickly. He constantly asked me for sexual favors, including nudes and videos. Oh my god. We exchanged pictures multiple times. Okay, so then we got to a point where... is this guy not on famous birthdays? Like, what the fuck? Why? I like how the thing that they're known for most is grooming, which is a good thing because at least people are calling it out. Okay. Apparently, it's May 27th. May is his age. May is his birthday, I think. He has sexual favors. At the time I was 14, he was 19. Yeah, that's gross. Yeah. Oh, okay. So then this is like a 4.5-year age gap. Like, they're 14 and 19. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you can't even chalk this up to a mistake anymore. Yeah, I was 14. They were 19 and 14, dude. Come on. Like, you're soliciting nude images from a fucking minor. He was streaming on Twitch during this time, and I supported him through everything. This is another thing. It's not even just the age gap. Like, you have to be really careful about like interacting with your fans, even when they're of age. Like, it's like, you have to be fucking careful with that shit. Like, you really shouldn't be doing it in general. I know it's difficult to date. This is on a different tangent. It can be a little difficult to date, but like, I don't know. I'm not saying it's wrong to fundamentally date your fans, but I'm saying is that you need to be like really careful. But they're also underage, which adds another element to it because obviously minors will be more susceptible to feeling pressured by a larger content creator than a grown adult. I even edited his stream highlight videos and modded for him. Then we started dating again in May of 2018. This guy was confident about it. What the fuck? Why was he so public about it, I feel? I broke up with him shortly after this, but he wanted to continue being friends with benefits in his words with me. He still wanted nudes from me and wanted to do things in Discord calls as well. I vocally told him I didn't want to do it. But he asked and begged for me to do it anyway. So I did, despite not wanting to. Yes, and then there's like another element there. It's like, okay, so she tried to break it off. And then he like begged her to still like basically engage with him sexually, even if it wasn't physical. It's still sexual. And like this is another way where like you can I would consider that I would generally say that this isn't fully consensual. Like not like let's remove the age from it because that's already disgusting enough. But like now you're pressuring somebody into still like imagine begging somebody to have sex with you when they said no over and over again. Because you really don't know, especially being somebody who's older and a big content creator. You don't know what the feeling is of that smaller person. They might feel like they have to, or else you'll fucking destroy their whole entire life. Or they might like maybe let's say this girl liked working with him on Twitch. She might have been like, "Oh, I like modding for you, and it would be really shitty if you took that away from me if we didn't sex. So I guess I have to sex with you, even if you didn't explicitly say that." It's just fucked up. He made sexual comments about me and my body, made jokes, and talked about sex in detail every time. Even when I told him I was uncomfortable with it, he made many jokes, even on his streams, about me turning 16 because it was legal in his state. Dude. Bro, that makes it so much worse. So this guy was fully aware, right? So if you say, "Oh, I can't wait for you to turn 16 because it's legal in my state," that means that you acknowledge that it was illegal to talk to that person in the first place. And that's one of those things where it's like you knew that it was wrong to talk to somebody in the first place, and like you were doing it because you couldn't wait for them to turn 16. That is grooming. Like that's when you're generally, it's when you're trying to create, prep somebody to have sex with you when they hit a particular age is a big part of it. He wanted to make plans to visit me there. Oh my God, where I lived, and we actually almost met up in California. Jesus Christ! He explained to me what he wanted to do with me, even when we met up, describing sexual activities in detail. Since it was illegal, he made me promise not to tell anybody if it happened. Oh my God. This guy is fucking the scum of the earth. It would have happened over the summer of 2018, and I would have been 14, and him being 20 at the time, since his birthday is May. Wait, how did these age gaps are getting even bigger and bigger? Wait, there's no way that they were 13 and 17, and he was 14 and 20. Because didn't they say something's... Because they were saying 14 and 19. So he would have had to have been 18 here. Or he would have had to have been 19 when she was 14, which is still wrong. It's just that, like, it's, I understand, like, there would be a bridge where it's like, okay, 13, 17, so maybe it's 4.5, so it could be, like, 13 and 17, and then, like, 14 and 19 makes sense. But it doesn't really make sense for it to be 14 and 20. I wonder if he was still 19, which is still disgusting. It doesn't matter. It doesn't excuse it. It's still a 5-year age gap, and he knows it's illegal, so he shouldn't be doing it. It's just like it's just something I noticed. It's fucked up though about California. This is something that you guys should be aware of, and this is really fucked up. So in California, I'm reading the twit longer from this girl. In California, so these are called Romeo and Juliet laws, where there's generally a 4-year age gap that you're allowed to engage with somebody. I think it's 14 and up. So most states will be like, oh, as long as it's within a 4-year age range, it's okay. So like it's for a 16-year-old and 20-year-old fuck, it's okay. I think it's disgusting, but you would say that there's a legally okay. California actually has the worst Romeo and Juliet laws. People don't know this, and then I'm going to tell you about it right now. So in California, there's a law that says that if you engage sexually with somebody between the ages of 14 and 17, it's up to the judge's discretion of whether it's some kind of like some kind of a violation, as long as the person isn't older than 10 years. So if a 14-year-old can sleep with a 24-year-old, and that 24-year-old can get off with it. Like, that's a real thing in California. And I know that because they did an update to the law a while ago, because it used to just be vaginal penetration where you're protected, not anal or oral. So, like, they included everything so that, and it's disgusting, they should remove this law, but they included everything so that, like, LGBTQ people wouldn't be, like, excluded from it. But, like, yeah, no, it's fucked up. People don't know that about California. It's really fucked up. After a while, I expressed to him again that I was extremely uncomfortable and that it wasn't normal for someone who was just strictly my friend to act this way towards me. Absolutely. I told him many times that we were just friends and absolutely nothing else. He would stop for a week and then continue harassing me and begging me for nudes and other things again. No matter how many times I told him I was uncomfortable, wanted to stop, he didn't. Demetrius was my best friend. I cared about him so much. I didn't want to end our friendship. When I was around 16 and he was 20, I gave him one last chance to stop before I cut him off completely. This didn't last long, and he sent me nudes even though I told him I didn't want any. Maybe uncomfortable. I unfollowed him from everything and cut him out of my life. It hurt me to do this. We were so close. I trusted him with my birthday and told him things I didn't tell anyone else. We haven't spoken since. He messaged me on my 17th birthday, but I didn't respond. I'm not only the girl Demetrius has done to. I'm not the only girl that Demetrius has done this to. Please be cautious about who you give a platform to. Okay, so like one of the biggest problems here is the age gap's already disgusting enough, but there's a habit of not listening to women when they, like in this scenario, when they say no, or girls when they say no. Demetrius, it must be his real name, jikishi or whatever. So still, he would develop a relationship that became a friendship, and then he would weaponize that, and he would use that friendship to try to get like nude stuff from them. That part's really fucked up. Like, he's not even listening to the people saying like, hey, I'm not comfortable with this, and it seemed like he pressured at 20. I would assume she was 15 at 20 because, like I said, I'm assuming that she was either she was 19 at this time or she was 15 at this time. Doesn't matter. Still inappropriate. He tried to pressure this girl to have sex with him. And here's the thing. With the California law that I brought up, I doubt he knew that law. So he thinks it's illegal and he still wants to engage in it. And I think that's disgusting. Age of consent, Minnesota 16, same as Iowa. Last night, Jay's almost 16. LOL. Yeah, Elemental Jackson dead. You know Jay's body. You know Jay's birthday. LOL. Last Thursday, October. Okay. Yeah, this seems very inappropriate. Well, for one, you're actually cute. I'll keep it real. Haven't had a good nut in a while. Great. Did 7 nudes for the final. By the way, you said 7 nudes for the final meme. Remember that. You left me. Alright, wait, what does that mean? Like, are you saying like, oh, you told me, dude, is he trying to say that he would give her, like, make a meme for her for 7 nudes? I don't really understand. Because since you did it consensual and I didn't force you, it would just be us both getting... Wow, this is really fucked up. I don't think people understand that. So what he says here is, because since you did it consensually, and I didn't force you, it would just be both of us getting in trouble, LOL. The way that I interpret this is that he's telling her not to tell anybody because she would get in trouble. And so that's another predatory narrative. Is he's telling this girl, if you say anything to anybody, you're going to get in trouble too because it was consensual. And I want you guys to understand something, is that willingness doesn't mean consent, right? Just because somebody does something willingly doesn't mean that it's consensual. Right? For instance, if a 15-year-old willingly sleeps with a 30-year-old, it's not consensual. Willingness might exist, but it's not a consensual engagement because they're not old enough to make that decision to sleep with that person. So willingness and consent are not the same thing. They're not the same thing. They're not interchangeable. These are much more complex than that, and people have to understand that because like this is just dumb. This to me is like manipulation. Absolutely, 100%, 100% manipulative. He's only into 15 and under. You know our interesting talks we had, like that one about handcuffs. I like that one. Who's only into 15 and under? That's one thing I literally thought you were just memeing about, and I was like, in real life that's not her, but I realized that you were being serious. LOL. Like I said, it makes sense to us. Like you don't care because of how close we are, but everything else is like, oh, what? Yeah, LOL, LOL. If you ever saw our convos, if anyone ever saw our convos, yikes. Yeah, LMAO, you're right. So, about those dream pics, Kappa, you wanted the scary stream, didn't you? So, is this the girl? So, this reads to me... This really reads to me like he's aware of what he's doing is really wrong, which is a big deal, right? So, like, there is a difference between people who are actively aware what they're doing is wrong versus people who don't really know what they're doing is wrong. Right, and it doesn't excuse the people who aren't 100% aware of what they're doing is wrong. But I think that if you do something wrong and you're educated on it being wrong, you know it's wrong, it makes it worse because like your intent is to do something wrong, even though you know it's not right. And he makes these constant like talks about like, oh, if people ever saw our conversations and like, oh, it would be your fault if you'd get in trouble too. And yeah, the one thing that just really felt attacking is that's illegal, which obviously dating you wasn't even legal. Plus, we both didn't really care about the age difference. Like, that's why I want to know. I know I don't need to know, but I want to be able to do that friend part. That's a part of your life, and you're able to talk about anything. And obviously, relationships is part of your life, but I'd like to be, this guy's disgusting. I'd like to be as a friend, obviously, to get you in the way, something bigger. Yeah, I know. We were just friends, by the way. They made a big deal out of nothing. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I was like, I don't know, because you said maybe I like him more than a friend. That's why I was kind of sad or upset, but like, we didn't talk about, I don't know what that says. It's blocked. 2 more things. One, you're short, but still the most beautiful girl ever, and Jaden is thick. LMAO, still waiting for those pics. Okay, I'm assuming that's what they're saying. TPWJS, what the fucking thing. LMAO, you think I'm joking? Ha ha ha. I love you. Don't hate me. Oh, okay, I love you. Okay, it seems like he's pressuring her to send pictures. And you need to actually visit me or me visit you, but like don't forget age of consent is 16. Oh my. Oh wow. Gross. Put this, my dick, not actually LMAO. You're twerking, not actually, even worse. Only for me to see LMAO. Lots of sexual shit. Send pics, you already have some, but you said you hit me up, which means But you said to hit you up, which means more. Okay, this guy's gross. Yeah, okay. This is like fucking, yeah. I mean, good for this guy. I want to hold on to that tweet. That was only the fucking first girl. I mean, Jesus Christ. And there was already plenty of like fucking like pressuring to send pictures and shit. Okay, well, that's number 1. Let's do the next one. Another experience with jikishi. I was 13 in 2017. Okay, we have to start. How fucking old was this guy? How old is this guy now? Can somebody, we have to figure that out. Somehow not his birthday. I want to figure out his exact, is he 21 now? Yeah, he's currently 21. Okay. So in 2017, he would be 17 years old or 18 depending on it. Why you know what really fucking is, you know what's really weird, and I know this is going to be as like a very, it's going to, I want you to like try to hear me out on this one. Okay. So what I find weird, right? It's like, it's so far, we're on the second girl. We're going to go on for more, but there's already 2 girls, and there's a pattern of them being 13, right? So to me, it seems like it's not like he's talking to people and one of them happens to be 13, which is still wrong. It seems like he's actively looking for 13-year-olds at 17. That's a problem. It's not even like, oh, I talked to this girl and it turns out they were younger than I thought. It's still wrong. You should stop talking to them. But it's if there's a pattern of them being 13 over and over and over again, why? Why is that a thing? It's like, it seems like there's actually like there seems to be a particular pattern and attraction to 13-year-olds. Like, was it arguably prepubescent? I guess you start developing at 13, right? I didn't VC with him much because I was insecure about my voice, but he would beg me to call, and I had to leave him on red for a day or two until he give it up and went back to what I thought was normal for a friend. Even though we didn't voice chat, he never asked me for nudes, but he would make jokes that I wasn't comfortable with. He joked about sending sexual pictures of himself and me sending sexual pictures of myself. He played the nice guy all the time. He would victimize himself whenever I expressed being uncomfortable, and I fell for it. I guess I only tolerated it because he listened to my problems. Yeah, so this seems like this guy will like try to become these people's friends, and then he probably listens to their problems and doesn't give a shit, and then he waits and tries to use that. That's the like fucked up. He tries to use that as a way to you know, get images from people. I didn't have a happy family, and he listened to my rants despite being a creep. I only liked the attention, and it took me 2 years to be able to look in a mirror because I hated myself for talking to him. I don't want to post this myself because I know how brutal Twitter can be, but I want my story to be shared. A little support would be nice. I didn't know I was a victim back then, and I'm so fucking sad to hear that I wasn't the one. I mean, thankfully it didn't go too far, but it seems like he has a pattern of becoming friends with young girls, 13-year-old girls specifically, honestly, and then tries to use them for sex or images. Is this a different person? I guess so. Okay, so this is somebody else's big thing. This is an anonymous person. I wasn't going to come out, and just keep in mind, again, that when he talked to Dream, like, he told Dream all of them were true. Okay? That's how I interpreted that message. Let's see if I still have it. Right? Removed Demetrius from SMP for gross accusations that he also confirmed privately were accurate. No questions, no toleration. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, okay. I wasn't going to come out about this, seeing how people got attacked last time someone said something, but now that someone explained their experience and got support, I guess here it goes. I knew him before Discord, but look at this, 12, 13. Bro. But this was where we got familiar. I deleted the DMs from disgust over the fact that I've engaged with him, so I don't have the screenshots, but I'll try my best. I understand that, like trying to like out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. This happened in 2018. I was around 12, 13. So he's 21 now. So we don't know the month. So, I mean, my math is horrible. 18. So maybe he would be 18, 19, or 17. Am I getting that right? Doesn't matter. Still disgusting. We started out as normal friendship, but after a month, he started getting weird and suggestive in voice calls. He would joke around about sending him news and asking sexual questions. When I said no, he'd argue about it and hang up. I have to beg him to join the call again. Jesus Christ. Like, this guy's super fucking manipulative. I don't know why I continue with him. I was uncomfortable. I knew how wrong it was at the time. He was one of my only close friends I had. Dude, this is like a fucking huge... So this is one of the things, when we talk about grooming, why I make sure that I correct it. An aspect of grooming that people need to realize is that it's not just sleeping with somebody underage. That's wrong, but that's not necessarily grooming. Grooming is more of a psychological process of trying to generate a dependency onto that person that's grooming somebody. So becoming somebody's friend and like using that friendship just as a means to get nudes from them, that I would consider part of grooming, because you're just trying to create you notice that there's a pattern, and these young girls keep expressing that they don't really have any friends, but he's the friend, so he's the only friend. Potentially, these 13-year-olds might have not even realized that this happened. He could have been driving wedges between other relationships. Now, they haven't expressly said that, but it's possible. Just so that he's the only one that they have to lean on, so that if they want him to treat them like a person and listen to their problems, he could very easily be like, oh, well, why don't you send me some nudes? And they feel pressured to do that. Not all of them did, thankfully, but they would feel pressured to do that because this is my only friend. My IRL friends would tell me it was wrong, but I ignored them because no one had ever talked to me like he did. I didn't know that was what grooming was. I still got sick to my stomach when I think of the fact that I entertained him in the first place. This is kind of a short because I'm not doing really well at the moment, processing the fact that I'm even typing this, but I'm truly sorry to the other victims, and I'm hoping that he gets what he deserves for this. Probably won't, unfortunately. That's 2. Well, that's 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is the 4th one. Let's see. My experience with jikishi, trigger warning, grooming. I don't want to waste anyone's time reading another account of things Jinx, I will be calling him Jinx, as that is what I know him by, has done. So I'll be putting a summary at the start here for those who want to run down. That's fine. I might clarify things in replies because I'm not sure if this all makes sense. Feel free to ask questions if you want. Summary. I am another victim of Jinx starting around April 2020. When I was 14, he was 20. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is like patterned behavior. It's a behavior of like going after 12, 13, and 14-year-old girls despite his age. Like by 20, see, this is the thing. By 20, you have to like know that this isn't appropriate. Right? Like if a 20-year-old was like talking to a 16-year-old, it's still disgusting, but I'd be like, okay, it's 20 and 16, like you're gross and you need to stop. But I wouldn't call that predatory. I would call that you needing education. But like this is a 20-year-old. This is a 20-year-old man talking to 14-year-old girls. What the fuck is the matter with you? Like, why? This is the thing, is he got away with it so long, he feels like this is okay. This is one of those things that happens when like predators don't get punished for what they're doing wrong. They get better at it. And that's one of the really fucked up parts of this. And since he's the only punishment, well, he lost his platform, which is a good punishment. But like, do you think it's going to stop? Or do you think that he's just going to realize how he can be better at grooming children? I'll put screenshots below, although I may not have many screenshots of what happened. I will say that as far as I know, Jinx is planning on admitting to it all, as he's done in my DMs, which I'll show. Longer version. I met Jinx through a mutual friend, and we became close fat. Dude, like, we're at a point now where even if this guy admitted what he did was wrong, the only reason that he would admit to doing what he did was wrong is because he wanted to maintain his platform. I'm being honest with you. I doubt that he actually would feel bad enough to say this as like, oh, I need to stop, and a genuine apology, because to be honest with you, his behavior hasn't stopped, it seems. He was at 20 years old still doing this behavior. To me, if you continue that pattern of behavior, like how are you apologetic about it? I would like to see outright that I would never do I would never and do not in any way blame this on said friend. If I do see anyone saying anything about them, I'll be defending them because they are still a great friend of mine and deserve no blame or hate. I don't know how old the friend is or who the friend is, so... We became close friends really fast, and as somebody that generally takes time to trust people, I could not explain... Well, I mean, like, did they meet in a sexual context? The mutual friend might have been like, hey, I know this guy named Jinx. It doesn't mean that they were like, hey, you could date him as a 14-year-old at 20. How long does this guy have a platform for? Can you guys tell me that? Because I don't think... Everything he removed is YouTube. Is there a way that you guys can just tell me, like, how long jikishi, like, was a content creator for? There was always small jokes about safe, like, sexual stuff, but never enough for it to be more than banter. Still inappropriate. I'm only saying this to show that I was something that was pretty normalized from near the beginning of our friendship. He started asking more sexual questions. We used to play 20 questions with innocent things, and he would throw in not safe for work questions. I never saw an issue, but I was never comfortable enough to answer properly, and I would generally dodge them. You know what I find really weird? Just like outside of the sexual shit, why the fuck are you at 20 friends with a 14-year-old? I'm uncomfortable with being friends with like 20-year-olds at 30, even though they're TikTok creators and they're good, like they're good people, and like I consider them friends of mine. But like even I'm uncomfortable. What the fuck do you have in common at like? And I have something in common with the people specifically. We're content creators. But like, what? How the fuck are you 20? Like, what do you have in common with 14-year-old? They're not content creators. There's no reason to be their friends. Why are you up late at night on fucking Discord calls, playing 20 questions with a 14-year-old at 20? Like, do you have better things to do? Like, what the fuck's the matter with you? It doesn't make any sense. Now, this part is what I always thought of the most fucked up thing that he ever did. Even if I didn't see it at all at the time, I'm only explaining this in such detail so you can all see what happened and why it's coming forward. This might be a little bit jumpy as my mind is all over the place. I'm not sure how to begin other than saying it was to do with Snapchat and the Your Eyes Only feature. I'm not super familiar with what that is. He made a game of sorts. I'll try my best to explain it now. First off, he counted the amount of images, videos he had in there. I remember the number being somewhere in the 200s, although that's not super relevant. He got me to pick a number, and from the point on, it was used as a form of blackmail. What? Not sure if that's quite the right word. If I was doing something he didn't want me to, or he wanted me to do, he would say the number, and I would generally end up doing/not doing it. I'm not super sure what that means. If I was doing something he didn't want me to do, or if he wanted me to do something, he would say the number, and I would generally end up doing/not doing it. The threat was essentially, do whatever I say or I'll send you the image/video that corresponds with the number. As you can imagine, considering they were saved privately on Snapchat, almost all were very sexual in nature. Overall, I believe he sent 5 to 10 of them, one of which was a video and was very graphic. Okay, so apparently... Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So Your Eyes only you can see it. Okay. I just don't know how Snapchat works. So apparently, what this guy would do is he developed a relationship with this girl, and then he threatened them if they did something he didn't like, or they wouldn't do something he wanted them to do. He would say, well, if you don't do those things, I'm going to send you inappropriate messages as your punishment. Which means that basically what he's saying is that, hey, if you don't do what I want, I'm going to like send you my penis. And so I think that blackmail might cover that. And what I would assume is he's using it as an excuse to send sexual imagery to try to receive sexual imagery. Be like, well, if you don't do this for me, I'm going to have to send you my fucking dick. And that somehow blames her for receiving and this is the mind of a 14-year-old. So this, I would imagine they would like think that this is real. They would feel like it's their fault for getting it sent, and they would try to do the right thing. But it's just an excuse for him to send explicit material so that they'll send it back. That's like really fucked up. Thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. I'm going to leave this here because I think I've gone on for too long, but I'll leave screenshots links below. I've spoken to a number of other victims, and I just want to say that if there's anyone else in there, my DMs are open, and I will always be there to talk about anything. Hope everyone is doing okay with all that's coming to light, and if you aren't, then please talk about it. Your mental health is important. Take a break, step back. Talking about numbers. Hopefully there's not porn here. Just send me the number, because I low-key forgot too many numbers in my small brain. Oh, 93, I think. Hey, guess what? Motherfucker, what are the chances? I swear to God. Haha, try again next time, Chief. So, literally, only the number has changed. The thread is still basically the same. I'm not super sure. I know you don't like talking about it, but I guess I'm going to be honest, I still don't 100% trust you, and I'm sure I will with time, but right now I think I need something from you. Now, I'm in no way planning to make anything public at all, but I think just as, like, I'm not sure the word, I need some kind of admittance. I like you acknowledging what you did. I think I need the ability to go public at any time if I hear you've done something like this again. I have some things, probably enough, but I think it would do a lot for my ability to trust you if I had some form of admitting to what happened. Just set my mind at ease and convince me more that you are never going to do it again. Sorry, that's a lot of text, as in I would appreciate some form of you admitting to what you did, that if I ever found out you did anything again, I would release it. I forgive you, but I don't trust you, not yet. Sorry, that's a big ask, I know. Okay. The rest of the conversation. Relevant parts only. In school, or what are you doing? At home, just chilling on a voice chat. Okay, bad. I wasn't sure. I was like, How long? I want to make it. You're willing to, I want to make it? You're willing to do it? Oh, okay. The apology, because, like, if you were in school, I would have tried to make it more bearable. Well, then I have no reason not to. I know it's kind of a big ask for me, but me denying it is just as much proof, and there would just seem like a lot. Sorry, I really appreciate that. I just wanted to say I'm not trying to force you to do this. I would never go along with help me trust you, but I want you to force anything. I know you aren't. I don't want you to feel... This is from 2 days ago. I don't want you to feel like you can't trust me, my word, because I'm genuinely sorry. So it sounds to me... So to me, this is from 2 days ago. So to me... Hold on. Fucked in the past, I shouldn't have done it, that's on me. And you want to make sure that I won't do it again, basically. Okay. Especially the bound younger people. I have an audience of young people that's bound, I don't know, happen again, it's very admirable of you, and I won't act like I know exactly how it affected you. I don't know if I'm being bad at English, so I'm sorry, but yes, I get it. And just know that I genuinely will have to continue to learn from this mistake. Like, obviously, I won't do it again, but also the fact that I wanted to know I'm genuinely sorry, and I want you to realize the thing too. Okay. So to me, I'm not proud of my past. I'm generally hope this can be my future, and I'm grateful that you're just giving me this. Okay, last chance. Okay, so this is 2 days ago. So what this suggests to me is that this jikishi guy got found out, and so now he's pretending that he cares. This is one of those things. It's like now, 2 days ago, now that the story broke, all of a sudden I'm really sorry, and I'm not this person. I'm trying to learn from it. So it sounds like he's being apologetic, just as a simply. He's only being, to me, it sounds like he's just being apologetic because he got caught more than anything else. Okay. Grooming sexual assault mentions. This will be very short due to personal reasons and comfort. If that upsets you, I'm not sorry. I knew jikishi through Discord account which I do not have access to anymore. I had about a year ago. He asked me to send news as a joke, constantly asked if we could call, which is something I was uncomfortable with, and said suggestive stuff to me and more I either can't remember clearly or do not want to bring up. Since then, I blocked all contact with him, and since it has been a year, which is a long time to me, I had forgotten who they were and the stuff that they did to me. Only seeing the victim come out of their stories helped me remember everything. So the other victims, thank you for any... Okay. I only thing I wish is that they would have told us their age. Because it's, to me, it's just important because they have all this information linked. Like, I'm not doing anything crazy. The only reason that I'm curious is because it seems like there's an established pattern of young people. Okay, so this is linked to their own account here. It looks like they are 14. They're 14 years old as of right now. So that's on their own account. Like, I'm not doxing them or anything. This is what they have linked to their shit. I'm assuming this is them. Masks, gender fluid, non-binary, sexual, 15 to 17. Pronouns. Okay. Yeah. Autism, ADHD, dyslexic, body is white. 14. Okay, so I'm assuming this might be like a dating thing that kids do. I don't really know, but they're looking for 15 to 17-year-olds, and they're 14. Wow, it's crazy that the 14-year-olds have higher standards for who they should be dating than this fucking grown-ass man. Okay. Yeah, it seems like there's a pattern. So if this happened last year, then they would be 13. It's a fucking pattern. This just seems to be a fucking pattern here. Here's another one. Jikishi's actions are not a thing of the past. He's still a predator and he's still out there. I'm 14 and was introduced to Jikishi through a moot. I don't know exactly what that means. I immediately fell in love with his content and started to talk to him. At first was a couple of replies to my responses and a reading out of my comments in a live. Then I posted for a selfie, or posted for a selfie day, and we started to have conversations. He would continuously compliment me, telling me how pretty and cute I was. I'm also a system, and one of my alters who I don't know what that means. I'm also, is that like a DID? One of my alters who, for privacy reasons, I won't share the name of, also got a chance to talk to him. Okay, Jikishi would compliment them, use pickup lines and whatnot, and would usually ask to speak to them over and over again. I do believe his main focus was on them. Jikishi uses power dynamic as a content creator to get me in, and my system. I don't know exactly what a system is. A mood is a mutual fellow or follower. Okay, that makes sense. By the way, how many screenshots are there instead of actual proof? I know what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I know that you're saying, like, hey, they should be more definitive evidence if we have more screenshots. What I would focus on first of all is like that the guy specifically didn't deny any of these accusations. That's very important. I understand what you're saying, but this is one of those situations where if he didn't admit to it, I'd be reading this and like honestly, these seem pretty credible. There just seems to be a pattern of like young girls, but he had already admitted to it all. Like we don't even have to do the speculation of like what are some of these true or some of these not true. The system means that it's a DID, it's a dissociative identity. Is that what it is? I'm a little confused about it specifically. It's either another person or a different alter of theirs. But he already admitted to this, all of this. Yeah, that's why like we're going in. Like he quite like I'll show the screenshot again. This is from Dream, and then like he confirmed it privately were accurate. So like, yeah, we don't need to speculate whether they're true or not because he's literally validated all the claims. My situation. Okay. Okay. So a while ago, around 2018, 2019, so what are we? I'm sorry, my math is terrible. So this motherfucker is 18. Okay. We were 13 at the time. I'm assuming they were 13 at the time. Candy, the host of our... Oh, there's more than one person. Was in a Discord server with him. And to be honest, I don't think I have access to Discord account as we made a new one, and I don't know if we remember the password still. However, I will try to access in the near future. We DM Jikishi first as we recognize his name. Okay, so this guy was famous for a while, long enough to people to be like, oh, I know who this person is. Yeah, there's just so many different things that are just mixed together. There's an age gap. There's the power dynamic that just goes with being an adult talking to a minor. There's a power dynamic of being a famous content creator. There's the aspect of grooming where they're trying to create an emotional dependency onto him. There's so many things here, right? So because it's just so much shit going on here. Things were completely normal for a few months. We sometimes would also do role plays, which was never weird to us at the time, as we felt we were lucky to have someone who had a bit of recognition show any interest in us. Of course, yeah. That's fucking power dynamic shit. Because fundamentally, like, it's okay to date fans or whatever, but like 20 or 18 and fucking 13, dude, like what the fuck. Jikishi would often make sexual jokes. This should have been a red flag, but we still enjoy the attention. Same thing with the role plays, which increasingly got more sexual. At one point in our life, a very traumatic thing happened with both of our parents. We lost them. Jesus Christ. This was an incredibly hard time for us, and Jikishi would just support it. Dude, this is fucked up. I know what's going to happen next, and it's going to make me mad. This just consisted of him gaining our trust, and then he would ask us to send nude pictures, and he would also take advantage of us. Of course, I fucking saw it coming. Like, a lot of predatory people will become friends with you, and then when tragic events happen in your life, they'll try to like siphon shit out of you, and you'll feel the pressure to do it. You know, like this is the same. I know that this is like a meme, but the meme will be like, "Oh my god, you're depressed. Like, how can you be depressed? You're so handsome or like so sexy." Like it goes along with that, except to a much more extreme level. It's a real thing. Like, I know people make that meme about it. It's like, oh, you're so too attractive to be depressed. That's like a thing that predatory people will do. It's like when you're upset, they'll talk to you like a person, and then they'll look for a jab to be like, oh, by the way, you want to send me your fucking nude, you know? While Little was fronting, by saying, took advantage of us while a Little was fronting by saying things like, you type so cute, and can I see you with no shirt? And as it was a little fronting who didn't know better. I don't know exactly what that means. We often gave in. I'm assuming that just means that they were young and they didn't know any better. After one of our adult protectors formed, she got us out of the situation, and we have repressed these memories. I am a trauma holder who holds them. I rarely front. Seeing the amount of people speaking about this honestly encouraged me to do the same. My heart goes out to everyone affected. I love you and wish the best of you all. Yeah, this is like a pattern of behavior here. Which one did I just click? This one? Just want to make sure I'm doing all these justice. Yeah, we just did that one, I believe, right? Is this the same one? Am I just like fucking old boomer? Yeah, I am. I'm fucking sorry. I'm a little dumb. Another victim asked me anonymously to share their story. I am also a victim of Jikishi. We mainly knew each other 2018, 2019 when I was 12 to 14. Of course, this guy, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, you notice they're all kids. It's not like, hey, I've been doing that. Like, dude, it's so fucked up. This is like a pattern of behavior. Like, this is just fucking ridiculous. Like, he's specifically seeking out 12 to 14-year-old girl. Not a single 15-year-old has said any, and it wouldn't be good. But if like he was 19 and he was doing this to 18-year-olds and like, okay, it doesn't make it okay. But if he was doing it to 18-year-olds and then one girl happened to be like 14 and he didn't know or something, I could be like, okay, I still don't know if I believe that. But he's specifically seeking out 12 to 14-year-olds. And none of them have even expressed that there hasn't been any hint that he's like asking. He seems that he knows all of their ages every single time. Like he knows that they're young kids every single time. There hasn't been a single narrative of like he asked me my age. He just seems to know what you. I hope I'm communicating this well. He seems to know every single time that they're 12 to 14 years old when the grooming and sexual encounters took place, but have spoken a few times over the past couple of years. I never had the strength or bravery to speak out, and I just tried to forget and rationalize what happened to me. I had no idea there were other victims of abuse, so I thought that it was my fault and that it didn't matter. Knowing that there are other people who suffer with the same reality made me realize the extent of the horrible things he had done. I feel so terrible about everything that happened. I feel terrible about not coming forward, and that maybe there would have been less people if I had. I don't know if I could come forward, especially having no evidence, since it was pretty much all on Snapchat or voice calls. I don't want anyone knowing who I am. Again, I feel bad for not being able to come forward, but I pushed it down for so long and never actually processed it. That it's just so hard to face what happens, but I'm glad that Iran, I don't know, it was strong enough to be able to, and now everyone knows that it has done. Thank you. So hard to process what actually happened to me, but I think I'll give peace of mind eventually. What's really fucked up is like some of these people feel bad for not coming forward sooner, which is terrible that they like they feel like they're in a spot where like it's not their fault for not coming forward, and there seems to be like a habit of it. Oh, this is just a, it's just a link, but a picture of it. Bro, there's so many people. Holy fuck. Due to recent situations that have come to light, Jikishi, I decided that I was going to share my experience. Dude, what is a fucking coffee ad in the middle of this? Jesus Christ. With what happened over the years that I've known him. I met Jikishi in 2019 when I joined the Nest. What the fuck? Sorry, just keeping like advertisement at the bottom of my screen for like coffee. It's annoying me. When I joined the SMP he co-owned, we actually became friends. In 2019, I was 14/15, and that would have made him... Oh my god, why is my math like so bad? 19? It's still uncomfortable. Like, it's still uncomfortable. 19 and 14 is not okay, and 19 and 15 is really still not okay. It shouldn't be okay. I became very close to Jinx, and later I gave him my Snapchat among... And he was famous at this time, right? Like, he was starting to get notoriety in 2019. I gave my Snapchat among... of some other online friends before I made my face reveal public. Once I started to show my face and such, he would begin to inappropriate jokes. He started in 2019, 2020. This continued for a while. Later asked why he would make these jokes and replied with something along the lines of, that's just how I joke around with my friends. I thought I was the only one experiencing this, so I never thought to mention the mutuals. You know what's really interesting, though? This is something... He does this, he seems to do this to a lot of people, and none of them seem to have known that he was dead. He would do this to other people. And the reason I find that to be interesting is because, like, if these were all your friends, why aren't they friends with each other? Like, oh, I have a bunch of friends. Like, why wouldn't they be public friends with other people? Because all these seem to be coexisting. All these seem to be happening at the same time. So, like, what it says to me is that, like, well, we're friends, but he doesn't, like, publicly announce it, which means he might be ashamed of it. Or he might not want them to have other friends because it's part of his like narrative, it's part of his process to go after people that don't have robust like relationships in their life. That seems to be the thing. That seems to be the undertone of like a pattern that's going on here, is that he actively seeks out people that don't have other people to depend on. And he doesn't want them to have other people to depend on. He doesn't want these other people to meet each other and be friends with each other, because then they could create friendships with each other, and then that would expose him because he's far too sexually explicit with them all. It just shows more of a pattern of manipulative behavior, that he keeps his friends, which they're not really his friends, away from each other. It doesn't make any sense. Unfortunately, I do not have any proof of this because earlier this year I moved him from Snapchat. And for that, I'm truly sorry. I understand why. It's like an out of sight, out of mind. I hope you could hear me me out otherwise. One thing that Jikishi would continuously do would be he would get drunk and text me. While that is a red flag in and of itself, I thought nothing of it until I received multiple texts saying that he hopes he won't send another explicit to me. Well, one evening he got drunk and sent me a snap of him, trigger warning, holding his dick through his underwear. I have never told anyone about this, and I never mentioned this to him in fear of being embarrassed and ruining something I knew worked hard. He worked hard for. See, look at that. There's even this internal. See, you have to listen to this. So there's even this internalized idea that it would be bad for, like, from this person's perspective. They're saying, like, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to hurt his career. Thank you so much for the sub. There's even this internalized idea to these young people that even though they're the victim, they feel bad for coming out because they don't want to hurt his platform. I find that to be really fucked up. Like that is like the reason somebody would have this perspective is because we do have a society that really does, like, I mean, I feel like that would be part of like a sexual assault apologist society, where you have a society that wants to protect people even if they're bad people. Because why else would you have this internal, like, oh, I don't want to hurt what he's built? Well, who cares? Like, I know that because I'm an adult. Like, I don't care. He's a predator. But these young people, they're like, oh, I don't want to hurt his platform. He's a good guy, kind of a thing. That's like really fucked up. That's a really fucked up situation to be in. It seems very silly, but I did not want that guilt to stick with me. But looking back at the situation, I wish I had said something. I know how hard it can be to believe this with no proof, but considering some of these allegations have been proved, I wanted to share to get off my chest. Later on, I asked him to stop bringing up inappropriate conversations, and he did. It never continued any further after that, and I forced myself to forget what happened. One thing I would like to say to the other victims is that I'm incredibly sorry. I feel a sense of guilt for not coming out with this information sooner. To be honest with you, if they came out with it, I believe that this happened. But if they came out with it, nobody would probably believe them, because apparently this happened a year ago. Somebody came out and nobody believed them. That's the unfortunate part of that. I feel that I feel that I could have saved people from pain at some point. It's not their fault. Jikishi was a very close friend to me, and I really hate that he made these gross comments as decisions. Once again, I apologize for the lack of proof. I'll be posting some screenshots that I have found through Discord, but considering I removed him earlier this year from Snap Chat, I have nothing from that platform. I still care for Jikishi so much, and even rereading messages made me think twice about posting it. It's fucked up. I feel bad for this person. Please be careful out there, and to those who encourage me to post this, thank you. To those who have also been affected by his actions, don't hesitate to message me. I feel sharing a common factor could help the healing process. Yeah, it's so sad that these people feel upset about it, about like coming out with their story where they were victimized. Sometimes I think about just testing your limits by saying random disturbing things. Then I remember I don't want to scare you away. What the fuck? What's your weird question? It doesn't exist anymore since you do it at practice. Oh, were you going to ask me with clothes or no? LMAO, yes. I knew it. Kinky bitch. I am kinky. So what? LMAO, but this is not... What the fuck? But I'm not tired yet. Too bad. Shut up before I kiss you. Jesus Christ. Bro, these are like not... These aren't even like subtle. These are so explicit. What the fuck's the matter with this guy? Holy fuck, dude, it's fucked up. Like, how many people are there? I'm gonna read them all. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's so many. This is terrible. Fuck, I think I fucked up. Oh, yeah, I think this is a person right here, right? Okay, let's see. Grooming somebody has asked me to share their story. Okay, my friend, let's call her Amy. Amy used to be a big fan of this content creator and recommended it to me, so I took advantage of it because I was only 12 at the time. And I was like, sure, why not? I can't remember how we started talking, but at the time, Amy's sickness came back, and I was feeling very vulnerable for comfort and affection, so I was young, which wasn't an excuse. I know, oh, no, it actually is an excuse for you. It's okay. Like, you're young. Like, I don't like that this person's blaming themselves. They're like, oh, I was young, and I was feeling vulnerable, and I needed comfort and affection. And they're saying that, like, it wasn't an excuse. Like, yeah, no, it was an excuse for you to, like, seek out, like, some kind of, like, help. It was his irresponsibility. Anyway, so I told Jikishi about Amy's condition and then how she wasn't getting any better and how I was in a desperate need for comforting and affection, which led me into his trap. We got close and became friends. This seems to be like a pattern of him, like, talking, like, dude, what? Like, he's taking advantage of these people's, like, suffering to become friends. This is fucked up. We became friends, as he called it. After about a month of us being friends, I sent Jikishi a mirror selfie of me in a skirt, and he kept sending me hard eyes emojis and saying that I was very cute, which at the time was flattering, and I thought it was just him being friendly until he asked me to lift up my skirt and send him pictures. I refused as I knew better. When I told him that I was uncomfortable, he got angry and demanded, so I gave in, as I assumed he wouldn't ask again. He grew dependent on me, constantly sending pictures of me. When I refused, he started sending me pictures of him and would just say, and let's just say this lasted for 3... Dude, what? Okay, so there seems to be this pattern where if he doesn't get what he wants from girls, he sends pictures of himself. This is something that I have to ask my fiance about, like this experience, because I've never heard of the punishment being like, I'm going to send you a picture. I'm not saying that it's not a punishment or that I don't believe them. I just don't really get it. So I have to ask her, obviously, because I think that what they're saying is valid. It's just very, I wouldn't have never thought of that. But either way, they felt it was a punishment and it would make them give in and send pictures. So he was doing something to force them or coerce them to send pictures when they didn't want to. Which is already predatory outside of the fact that they're 12. I don't know at what time this happened. Maybe I missed it. I'll assume it was in the past 2 years, though, so... Whenever he asked me to send pictures, I wouldn't, so he would send them instead. We would also do role plays, which were never weird to me at the time, as it felt nice to be provided with some comfort and affection I was desiring. It still feels impossible. What is the role play, I wonder? Because it seems interesting that they know it's weird now, but they didn't realize it was weird then. And so I wonder what it is. Because they're saying that they wanted comfort and affection. So, like, what kind of fucking role playing was this guy engaging with them in? Maybe it's just that they're trying to send pictures so that the victim would get in trouble if they came forward. That's possible, actually. That makes some sense to me. Or maybe it was a guilt thing. It's like, oh, I showed you something, so now you show me something. Those are both possible. I'm just trying to understand. I believe they think that what they're saying is valid. I'm just trying to understand exactly how it works, like what they're talking about. So if I can be fully accurate. It still feels impossible to process this, and I feel like I'm reliving it over again. I can't sleep at night more often than not because of the flashbacks of me getting a dumb kid who shouldn't have been allowed, even been allowed on Discord. From the bottom of my heart goes out to each and every victim of jikishi. I love you all. I'm beyond sorry. I wish you all nothing but the best. You know what's really interesting is that, like, so me watching this seems like really disgusting. But this had such a profound impact on these people's, like, these young girls, these children's lives, where it, like, fucks them up. Like, I already know as a person, like, I've thought back to, like, shit that I've done in my life that I was cringe about, and then, you know how it keeps you up for a while, and now you're like, oh, I remember when I did this bad thing when I was fucking 15. This is like that times 10 with them, because it, like, really fucks them up, makes them feel gross about themselves because they were taken advantage of, which is terrible that they're like, they think that it's their fault, which it's not. Like, even if it's just subconsciously thinking that some part of it's their fault because they're embarrassed by it. It's just crazy. Like, this really, like, had a profound impact on. I've honestly, as I've through the entire time of talking about these types of things, I don't know that I've ever seen recollections that were this expressive of how upset or how much this upsets them now. And that's insane. Like, this guy must have really had, like, this incredibly profoundly negative impact on these people's lives for them to feel disgusted by it now. And they shouldn't feel disgusted by it. But I've never seen anybody that upset. Thank you so much for the sub. Jesus. My experience with jikishi. Sorry if this is short. Still very scared to talk on this topic. This was around mid to late 2019. I was just about to turn 12. Oh my god, this is an 11-year-old. This is a fucking 11-year-old, and he's at what? He's fucking 19 or something, right? Okay. It's been over 2 years, and this is still in the back of my mind constantly. I met jikishi through Discord friends. He seemed very nice, and we talked a lot. I would open up to dude 11 about things even previously experienced of SA, and he would comfort me. So he talked to an 11-year-old that was previously sexually assaulted. It's possible that this person never even admitted it to their parents. And he would use this to and as we read, I guarantee you he used this to get, like, sexual fucking favors from this person. and he would comfort me. He gained my trust, and I thought we were good friends. One day we were on a call, and he started calling my voice pretty and asking for pictures of me. I told him no, but he was persistent. I folded and sent him pictures of me smiling. He started complimenting me and making weird remarks. It would look nicer if you had your top off. For the next few days, he would start to ask me for nudes. When I refused, he sent his own nudes pictures of himself to me. I was scared and confused because I had talked to him about my experiences with SA and grooming before. I started replying to his messages and blocked him around April last year. To the other victims, my heart goes out. Jesus Christ. What's interesting... This was in 2019, and they blocked him a year later. The reason I bring that up is because they said they would refuse to send pictures of themselves to me. I was scared and confused because I had talked to my experiences, which means that they probably were still talking until for a year. This happened for a year, and then they felt that they need to block them. Bro, that's fucking scum of the earth. I mean, this is all scum of the earth shit. Like, this guy, dude, this person already had issues with sexual assault and grooming, and Jikishi was like, yeah, let me just do that again. Who's Jikishi? I don't know. Hopefully a dead man soon. Bro, this is disgusting. I think I already read this one. Yeah, I did. Sorry, I'm just a little, like, all over the place with trying to get them all. My bad. I want to make sure I get all of them because I want to make sure I just want to get all of them in here. I think it's the right thing to do. My experience with Jikishi. Hello, everybody. I wanted to make a statement about Jinx. We'll call him Jinx. I wanted to emphasize that I was not planning to say anything because I did not realize how serious it was or how many people he did this to. I also did not feel comfortable or safe saying anything based on previous personal experience. I'm sorry for not speaking up earlier. It's so sad that these people feel the need to say that they're sorry for not speaking up earlier. And I'm so sorry to all the other victims out there. It's just so fucked up because you want to know what's happening? These young people, these young girls, these children are sitting there and they're like, I'm sorry I didn't speak up earlier because if I did, I felt like I could have stopped it. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. And what's so fucked up is like the victims of the grooming. What the hell does that sound? The victims of the grooming. Wow. What the fuck is that sound in the background? I'm so confused. Anyway, the victims of the grooming are feeling like they're partially responsible for it by saying like, oh, I wish I spoke up sooner, which is really fucked up that they would feel the need to do that. Because it's not their fault. I met Shishi in 2015 to 16 in a Skype group chat. We were both added. I was 14 at the time. He was 16. We were friends, although he would also... So this is one of those things where, like, if this was the only one, I would be like, okay, like, I wouldn't give him too much shit on a 14 and 16-year-old thing. But I think that it's still going to be, like, there's still going to probably be a pattern here. Although I tried to brush it off because I was young and did not know what to do. He made sexual comments and jokes to me while I was underage through the years. This is one of the things where if it's a 2-year age gap, like, by itself, you know... This isn't something that I would be super critical about. What it does seem interesting, though, is that even at 16, he was attracted to 14-year-olds, and as he got older, he maintained his attraction to people of like that age, which is interesting. I'm feeling comfortable, although I tried to brush it off because I was younger. He made multiple comments to me while I was underage. Okay, later in 2019, after I first turned 18, just broke up with my first boyfriend. I was in quite a bad emotional state. Let's see. He started making more sexual comments more freely. He would constantly joke about others showing his genitalia. Would suggest playing the number game. What's this number game? Which other people have referred to as well. This game was a game where I would pick 1 to 100, 200, and then he would send me an image back from his My Eyes Only folder on Snapchat, which were generally explicit images. At first, I didn't know what the game was. Only one of my close friends knows he did this to me until now. I will not name the person, and that is because he did it to her too. We both do not feel comfortable talking about this and did not want to share it as we did not feel like we could. He would also Snapchat. I don't understand the game. Like and this is terrible because none of them should have to. But I wish somebody would explain like what is the frustrating part. Like what is the emotional impact of this game on them? Because there clearly is one. I just don't understand it. He would also Snapchat explicit images randomly sometimes when he was drunk. This made me feel uncomfortable as I did not want to receive these. He would try to pressure me to send news quite often, saying, "Oh, send butt pics, titty pics," and I was going to shower or something in the bathroom. Most of the time I said no, although one time I did give in and send one back. This made me feel uncomfortable, and I was very ashamed of myself for doing this. I regret it very much, although I did not come out and say anything, as I also did not want to lose him as a friend. We had been friends for many years, although now that I see that he has done this to so many people, I realize how wrong it was. I was for not opening up about this and not being publicly truthful about it. I'm ashamed that I continue to speak to him and support him. I classified him as one of my best friends online as he stuck by me through the hard times I've had over the past 6 years. I believe even though he did these things that are wrong to me, that he was still a good person because he tried to help and support me so much. I always try to look for the best in people and I'm easily taken advantage of now, which I now realize that I'm not going to work on, as I do not want to be walked over and taken advantage of. Nothing excuses his actions, and I'm sorry for saying earlier. I thought no one would believe me, and it felt bad potentially ruining someone's life that talked out about it. I will not support him any longer. I have already cut ties. I'm so sorry. Everybody being affected by the Dream SMP. If you are a victim, please let me know. I feel uncomfortable actions. Okay, the one thing that with this one is like, if he was 20 and she was 18, like, you know, this is one of the ones where like this alone doesn't really do a lot. He seems to still engage in this manipulative behavior. In reference to this specific person, the behavior is manipulative. I wouldn't classify it as type of like grooming predatory specifically at them because it was a 2-year age gap. If the 1/100 would tie to an image in my eyes only, more likely that he would send them as a nude based on the number they said. Oh, maybe I guess he could blame them for sending a nude. Maybe some of them aren't nudes. I guess with the 1 to 200, possible. Let's see. My encounters with Jikishi. I feel like I've said that name so many times. I don't even know if it's a fucking name anymore. Hi, I'd rather stay anonymous for this. I don't feel comfortable releasing my information. I met Jikishi in one of the past following years on Discord. I was around 12 at the time, of course, and recognized his name from one of my friends speaking about him. So the Jikishi is probably like 19 at the minimum. Jesus Christ. I had seen some of his content and thought it was cool, so I decided to reach out to them. At first, the interactions were innocent, but then he hopped in a call. He started saying things like, wow, your voice is so cute, or I wish I could see your adorable face. It didn't bother me because I just thought he was being nice, but then the conversation started to turn weird. It's so interesting because young people, I don't think, would necessarily consider this sexual at first because they don't really understand sexual engagement. So complimenting somebody in this context would usually be to like try to garner affection, like, oh, you're so cute, like we should date, huh? And they probably wouldn't know that, so they thought it was innocent like at the time, but he was really flirting. And so that, to me, that just shows that that they're not old enough to understand this shit, and then they thought that this was just being nice and it wasn't flirting. And so it has this, I think, this like subconscious idea of just downplaying everything he did as being wrong. I don't know. He would say things like, I wonder what you look like shirtless, or do you own any skirts? Why, he has a skirt thing, apparently. At times, I would take pictures of my outfits, and he would send back kissy emojis or heart emojis. And so them, they might have just thought this was like a normal thing. Like, oh, he's just fucking doing like a dress-up thing with me. It's just disgusting. Then he started to suggest I send more suggestive photos of myself. If I didn't, he would make me feel guilty, like I was being a bad friend. Eventually, it led me to sending a few photos, which I deeply regret. Every time, as soon as he gotten what he wanted from me, our conversation would come to a slow. Jikishi is a child predator, and if he's not put behind bars, he will continue to seek more victims. That's probably true. I wish I still had the screenshots to prove it, but as the time went on, I felt more guilt about what he had done. You guys aren't alone. And when we heard, yeah, no, it makes sense that they would delete the pictures because that would make them feel disgusting, which they shouldn't feel disgusting. But it's like an out of sight, out of mind thing. This is very revealing to me, though. As soon as he got what he wanted from me, our conversations seemed to come to a slow, which means that after he would create these relations. This probably happened with every person. He would create these relationships with these people. He would become their friends, and then he would try to get images from them. And if once he got them, he finished. You know what I'm saying? He would not be interested in that person anymore, and he would just move on until he felt like he wanted to exploit pictures from them again. He was removed from the YouTube series because he's a groomer. Good. My experience with Jikishi. I'm a lurker account, but I unprivated just for this. I'm sorry in advance if I have bad spelling. I'm shaky right now because of everything. I was on the internet a lot as a child and was on Discord when I wasn't supposed to. I was actively on Discord and everything. My friends got me into his videos, and after a bit I started talking with him along with said friend. We were both so young. Me and my friend used to lie about our ages because 9 to 10-year-olds weren't allowed to be on Discord. And yes, that does mean that we were 12 and 13. I know it's stupid and I blame myself, but the more we talked, the more he became weirder to us. How old did they say they were? I'm just curious. He used to ask the flash our boobs and show us nudes. Dude, first of all, I don't know how old they said that they were, but there's no way he looked at these 9-year-olds' boobs and said, that's a 12-year-old. Or that's like an 18-year-old. You know what I mean? Because they didn't say that they said they were 12. They just said that they lied about their age. But there's no fucking way you would believe like a 10-year-old is a fucking 18-year-old. You know what I mean? Like you would know, like, inappropriate. And it seems like he still did it. Like you would fucking know. We're so young we didn't know what it meant, so we said sure, and he started pressuring us to do it more. We both sent. Thank you so much for the sub. We both sent and he sent back. Oh, he sent them too. Jesus Christ. I'm speaking up for both me and my friend who are still in the contact. Please don't go on the app at such a young age. I was so fucking stupid and I regret it all. I'm really scared for posting this because I hid this for a really long time. Ever since that incident happened, me and my friend both got uncomfortable, closed the DMs and switched Discord accounts because we were so scared of him. And whilst he would do this to us, I was so young, so naive, and so fucking stupid that I should have known better than to be on Discord when I was like 9 to 10 and lying about my age. I just wanted attention and I wanted someone to love me. But there was a point where it crossed the line. I do still regret it and all blame it on myself. I don't have more to say, but I might take this down later because I have really bad anxiety and it's just scary for me to speak out on this platform considering how harsh it is because compared to other people's. They're only 13. Thank you again for reading. I don't have much to say. I'm not sure if this is going to get attention, but I still just needed to get this off my chest. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how old they said they were, but even if a fucking 10-year-old says like, yeah, I'm 19, I'm 18, you know, there's no way. There's absolutely no way that you would believe that. Is this the one I just looked at? Okay, no, this is the new one. Sorry, there's a lot of them. I never got to say anything about this due to the fact that I didn't realize how serious it was, or how many people he has done this to, but I wish I had receipts, but most of the interactions were through Snapchat. Of course, Snapchat's like the fucking Predator playbook here. I met Jikishi a few years ago, probably in 2019, 2020. I was 14 at the time, so he was like 19. Through some mutual friends, and dude, all these people seem to be fucking like 14-year-olds, 12, 13, 14. And we used to talk on Discord a lot. He seemed like a super sweet and nice guy, so I continued to talk to him as there were no red flags. Okay, so there also seems to be another pattern of him not being sexually explicit until they get close enough where he feels like he can press the line, which is another big deal because it shows like a methodical framework. Let's see, at the time, as time went on, he asked me for my Snap, which I agreed to send, and I had no issue since we were pretty close. Although once I had him on Snap, this is when things got weird. He would constantly joke around about showing his dick, and we would play games where I pick a number, and he would go through his My Eyes Only on Snapchat and send me photos, which would usually be his dick or his dick in his underwear. Me being a literal child, I thought this was fine, which is very stupid of me. A few months later, unadded me saying that he has to be careful who he has on Snapchat just in case someone knew something. But after a few weeks, he added me back again saying he didn't care anymore, and that's okay. Okay, so here's something that's very interesting. So he unadded this person under the idea that he needs to be more careful, which means that at this point, he possibly was feeling like he might have gotten caught. So he needed to take a step back, which means that like this person, I don't believe the, oh, I fucked up narrative that he's trying to pull now. This is like something that he's done. I don't know how many, what have we read? Like 10 already? And like he would unadd somebody. He's like, I have to be careful. Okay. So he knew what he was doing is wrong and he just removed somebody to be careful. Okay. He would often Snapchat me when I was drunk saying he's horny, and when he gets drunk, I again didn't see this as an issue because I didn't think it was wrong. He would pressure me to send news, and I did give in because I didn't want him to think that I was a bad friend for not sending, which is another consistent narrative of like, you're not a good friend if you won't show me your nude images. If I said no, he would keep asking until I eventually gave in. This happened multiple times, and I was getting very uncomfortable, but I didn't want to lose him as a friend. There would be many times where I would lie to him and say I had a boyfriend, so I didn't want to send him anything, and I would constantly make excuses. Now that I'm older, I have realized how wrong this is, and I'm very ashamed of myself for giving in and continuing to talk to him. To anyone that's a victim, just know that you should talk to anybody if you feel super uncomfortable, and anybody's actions. It's better to talk to somebody than keep it to yourself. This is fucking insane, dude. Holy shit. All right, somebody said to check like an ad on Twitter. That there's like a whole snap, there's a whole conversation. All right, you guys were linking this to me. I wish you guys just sent me the link. Where's the conversation? Oh, here it is. This is somebody that happened when it started when they're 13. I'm gonna hold on to that for like a little later because we might like potentially might come up in a little bit. You know what I mean? Because we're still going through these ones, so it could potentially come up. If not, though, we're gonna read them in a second, okay? Or not in a second, you know. Hi, my name is Lick Harsh. I don't know how to say that. More commonly known as Issa. Okay, these ads are really pissing me off. I am the person who has designed jikishi and their merch, as well as their bad lion cape. I don't intend for this statement to be a highlight of the situation at hand. I believe that this is more important to focus on giving the victims a voice of their experiences. I only felt compelled to make this statement as a way to say that I am not going to associate with jikishi anymore in solidarity for victims. I have heard and believed their stories, and I have felt disappointment and disgust towards this person. Wait. What he has done is unforgivable and a question tolerated. I also made the decision based on my own comfort, as I openly mentioned my age to him, and I don't feel safe working with him in the future like we originally planned to discuss. I regret supporting him and trusting him. I feel ashamed my work is connected to such horrible things. My heart goes out to all these people affected. Okay. So I don't think I guess that isn't a victim. By their own account. Okay. My story with jikishi, trigger warning. I was actually not going to talk about it with everyone else opening up about it. I only feel it is right to do so. I am a very small content creator, or I am a very small creator, so I do not know if this will ever be seen. I do not have any specific proof of this happening, but sorry, my voice is just getting dry. Or my mouth is getting... If you have a link about his mods being the same, so you would send it through like a Snapchat, or send it to my Twitter. Just look up if you have, because if you have more information about the way his mods operate. My Twitter is papagut2032. I have to change that, but that's what it is. So if you want to send them on my Twitter, you can use that, or you can use channel points. I'll give you the points back. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt this post. I was not actually going to talk about this, but with everything else going on, opening up about it, I only feel like right to do so. I'm a very small creator, so I do not know if this will be seen. I do not have a specific proof of this happening, but many of my friends heard from me as soon as it happened and can vouch. I was going to discuss. Okay, sorry, I've read that already. I was invited to an SMP. I'm assuming that's like a Minecraft channel. jikishi co-opted a while back, and after not even a week or two of me being there, I was in a call with jikishi. I will admit that there was flirting back and forth, but that does not make any come next any less disturbing. How old were they? Did they say yet? Oh, these fucking ads, dude. He proceeded to add me on Snapchat while we were both in VC with a face cam on. He started sending risky photos from his eye only. Then there was also a video of him sitting in his car and jerking off, like with many others. He brushed it off and said, "This is what I do with my friends." And also Snapchat texted me a lot when I was drunk. I would be completely transparent. I say I have not removed myself from the situation before now or not spoken about it. I honestly believe that it was just something that he did because he was into me or something, like any naive person would. But ultimately I realized that it's not the case, and I'll discuss even more. Okay, how old was this person? Because it's a very relevant thing. Probably isn't too smart for me to like blindly scroll through somebody's fucking Twitter, because these things can get weird, right? I'm just curious how old they are, because I think that it's very important to know the age of the people. It does show that he seems to be very aggressive with his friendships, but if this person is of like a legal, like if he's 21 and she's like 19, I'm not gonna be like super. I wouldn't use this as a general one. It doesn't mean that he wasn't being a dick, but that age dynamic is very, very important. I don't think we could put it in. I don't think that they have it there. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing really there for that. Okay. Oh, this account no longer exists. So this person must have tried to talk about it, but they might have deleted it because of the attention they got or something. I feel bad. Okay. Sharing my story as a victim, serious trigger warning grooming. Okay, I'll take a look at it in a little bit. Being honest, I'm not sure how to even start this. As a victim of grooming twice beforehand, once at 11, the other at 14, it's severely hard to process having a third time. I did not realize what the relationship I did not realize what me and Jikishi's relationship was until I looked back through our message on Snapchat. We started talking after we became mutuals on Twitter. I was 17 at the time. I wonder how old he was. I wanted the new host of Chingops and Robbers. How old is this? We began discussing our favorite things and found a common anime, which we led to discuss therapy. Cosplay. I showed him cosplays and he complimented them, which made him very happy. Okay, so they're 18 years old now. So this happened last year, so when the 2020 we would assume. So she was 17 and he was 20. It's not really appropriate, but like this is one of those ones where I wouldn't really consider, like I wouldn't use this one as like a horrible thing, right? You know what I mean? Like this is like, and I wouldn't consider it super appropriate age-wise, but I also wouldn't consider it like super inappropriate. 17, 20, it's like, it's a little uncomfortable, but it's not something that I would like, I would generally, just by itself isn't really a huge problem to me. We had anime interests. I showed him cosplays and he complimented them, which made me happy since I work hard on them and is one of my greatest passions. He said that his favorite characters were also people like Deku and Zero 2. He constantly referred to Zero 2 as a sexy waifu, which I didn't take any notice of. A few years went by and he asked for my Snapchat, so I gave it to him because I thought he was a sweetheart and innocent, complimenting my cosplays on both of me. But then out of nowhere, his Snapchats kept saying how he's glad I didn't meet his old self. He then sent me in it. What? Then he why would he say that? He then sent me images of less than a year ago of his stories. They contain stuff like, if you can guess my eyes only pin, I'll send you a picture of it, which he told me meant nude pictures of his crotch. I was made uncomfortable with this immediately, but it was quickly brushed aside by notes of, I'm not like that now. I used to be a whore, haha, not to worry about it. That's so weird that he would say that. Like, he assured me that he had changed. He told me how much he used to send pictures, but then immediately went on to complimenting me, calling me pretty, etc., as if to move the conversation track. It sounded like he was trying to bait her into asking for nudes. I ignored it again until I cosplayed Zero 2. I did not cosplay Zero for him, but after reading the messages, he seemed to think so. Yeah, she probably just made cosplay. Okay. I cosplayed Zero 2 because I love the anime and character. I also apologize for not having evidence of his comments. I removed him immediately as a friend on social media after realizing I became a victim again. I did not want to see a single message. Really. It was during a stream. He was playing marbles, and I was watching while Zero 2 cosplay. He was Snapchatting me during stream, but the compliments were so different. I was hot and the anime waifu, his canon 002. He then insinuated doing things to me in cosplay. I replied in confusion, simply brushed off as a joke. His face was live, talking to his chat and playing games while made sexual comments towards me, as if it was turned, it's as if when I turned 18, all boundaries were gone. Okay, so once they hit 18, this is what happened. We weren't close friends, but I gotta turn that fucking thing. So we weren't close friends, but I trusted him. He manipulated my trust in being able to use me to think of a sexual cosplay toy. I'm not in shock. I am in shock and still processing the fact that I thought Demetrius was a lovely and innocent. I even praised him for being in the Dream SMP a few days ago. I am sad and disgusted and feel so stupid for all his actions. I think the third time. To any other victims, please DM me if you want support. It's kind of words you're also strong. And if you have spoken out like me, I'm proud. I will never forgive anybody who does this, betraying my trust, is found victim of grooming for a third time. So here's the thing. I wouldn't. So from what they have said, and I don't mean to be a dick or invalidating, but like this doesn't really read as grooming so much to me. This reads more of him trying to be. So this person was 17 when he was 20, and I think it's. I don't think it's appropriate. But it also isn't something that I would consider by itself predatory. It sounded like he started talking to a girl, and then he slid into their DMs, and then he got their Snapchat, and he was being sexually suggestive. Now, they didn't seem to like it, which is a crossing of boundaries and shitty, but I wouldn't consider this one grooming. We have like eight other instances of like legitimate grooming. So I do believe he's a groomer. I just wouldn't say that this is one of those situations that would. This is somebody who's speaking up because they were frustrated by the situation. I totally get it, but I wouldn't consider this one a grooming scenario. Okay. Okay, so experience with Jikishi and Silence HD. I feel like I'm not saying the name right anymore. I've said it so many times. Let's see. Started with the Twitch SMP Discord. Met him. Was nice or met Jikishi, was nice at the start, then had a group call in the Twitch SMP Discord. Not sure if I made it uncomfortable. It did make me feel. Thank you so much for the subs, guys. Sorry. Uncomfortable. He basically partly showed his dick to maybe 8 to 10 members. I remember we were joking around until he showed us partly receipt parts. He continued to manipulate me through Snapchat and send receipt parts whenever he was drunk. It sucks because I was going to call out Jikishi. I couldn't do it because then I would be ruining the career. I could have had him then on my shoulders. Please forgive me. Another person, this is another situation with other girls done this to me, including silence, started making sexual jokes to me, saying I sent you a dick in your DMs on Twitter and sent tit pics on Twitter. So he's sending unsolicited pictures. He goes on to say, "You're lost by not looking." Continues to say, "I swear to God, I'm not a creep." Silence keeps going on to say, "Want to date Minecraft relationship, Kara, Himi." I don't, and Nerd Out. We were really good and handled the situation and told him that what he did was wrong. Silence continued my DMs and basically harassed me. Started, I don't, who's is that one of his mods? The Silence person? I'm making him lose his job and 70% of income, and stating that I am making him lose his job and 70% of income and losing his clients to this. He was also telling me he was having a panic attack over losing his job to me. Evidence, Snapchat deletes it. Evidence I have if I need screenshots. Okay. I think we got through all of them. This might be a different... Oh, there's still more, I think. Okay. Let's see. Okay, when I was around 13 to 14, I met Demetrius, 14 to 16, or Jikishi. Wait. Was he... So this person was 13 to 14, and he was 14 to 16, so I would say, like, they were... He was either 13... So, like, this... this is like a little, so they were like within a year or two age gap. I think it's gross for like a 14 and 16-year-old to talk, but also like, this is another one where I wouldn't be super like this by itself is okay. He's going by Hextonic Jinx at the time. We met through MCYT and through mutual Skype friends, and he quickly became close friends. After a couple of weeks, he asked me out. He was my first boyfriend. Even if it was online, he would constantly say I was crazy. He and my first boyfriend. He would then ask me for news as a joke. Many times he would just send me news without permission or want. This escalated to me when we were doing on Skype call and FaceTime, and he would just randomly pull out his genitals. I would just pretend not to notice because I didn't want my first relationship to be ruined. I never confronted him, and he never confronted me. Eventually, he broke up with me because he kissed his friend and felt bad. We stayed together. Okay. I have months, and we eventually ghosted me. I don't know if anyone is believing me, but I was with him in a big content creator group. I felt it was necessary to let other people's noses pass, and this has happened to me and other people, even as young as 9, even around the same time. Yeah, so like there's a couple of them in here. Like that one, I'd be like, that seems shitty. What he did was shitty. I wouldn't call it grooming by itself though, you know? Because the way that they express the age is like weird. So they were 13 to 14, and then Demetrius Jikishi was 14 to 16. I don't know why the age gap is so wide for his name. I guess there was some kind of like a birthday thing of an overlap, but I would say 14, 16. Again, I think it's uncomfortable, but by itself, I wouldn't use that. Okay, let's see. My experience. Grooming pedophilia. Hello, I'm extremely scared to say this, but in light of my client experiences, I think it's best to tell my story. Some side notes, I never connected the dots. Demetrius, who groomed me was Demetrius' agent Jikishi. I always felt that I recognized him and something was off, but I've never clicked into my brain now. Thank you for all the other survivors coming forward about your situation experiences. You're so brave. Okay, let's see. Okay, so in 2020, he was 20, and they were 13. Great. It's like all the same fucking like pattern, dude. The previous year, August 2019, my dad had passed. Due to this, I was extremely vulnerable and made some rather horrible decisions online. I had gotten Snapchat during lockdown because I was bored, and being young and naive, thought it would be a great idea to talk to random people on it. That's, dude, honestly, this is what's interesting to me. I never thought about it before, but like there seems to be a lot of like underage, like content creator underage shit going on. I wonder if part of it had to do with lockdown and people being more depressed, so more susceptible to being like, you know, taken advantage of. It's not their fault at all. I just wonder if that's part of it. Because I remember in lockdown, like in the height of it, I was streaming on Twitch and I had like a lot of people that were in like high school and they were like, oh, I'm like really depressed and this, that, and I would try to like, you know, talk to them on stream. I would never talk to them in DMs because that would be inappropriate. But I'd be like, oh, I'm really sorry. You know, try to get through this year. I know online school was hard and there was like a lot of things that were depressing people. I had met a girl whose name I won't disclose, and we became friends. We are no longer friends due to her being extremely toxic and horrible influence on me, but she was who originally introduced me to Demetrius. Side note, I don't blame her for anything. She was younger than me and just as oblivious to everything that happened. Do not blame her. She told me that there was this guy she thinks I should meet and gave me his Snapchat username. So I added him, knowing nothing about it at the time. He quickly added me back, and that's when our interactions began. You know what's weird though is that this is the second or third time that somebody has met Jikishi through another person. And the reason I find that to be weird is I wonder why. Like why does it happen? And the reason I say that is because, like, in a normal scenario, what would be your motivation to be like, hey, this random guy, you should follow him on Snapchat? So I'm thinking, like, what would the motivation be? I would assume, is the motivation, like, is he pressuring people to, like, get him in contact with other young people? As like, oh, hey, you don't want to sex with me, but maybe they do. Or maybe the people giving out the names are people he was taking advantage of and grooming, and they didn't know, like, you know, they didn't know what was even happening to them. I just wonder why, because there seems to be another pattern. It's almost like he has people finding some people for him to talk to. Let's see. His name was. Let's see. Our talk started off pretty normal, asking about our days and such. I'd like to add that he only ever told me his name was Demetrius. He never told me about his streaming or anything. Just Demetrius. However, they quickly turned sexual, and he began asking me how to play games with him multiple times a day. There were a few different, I'm assuming games is like a sexual game. He'd play with me, some of which I don't remember, but I'll try my best to recount them. The first game he asked me to play was 20 questions. I remember this because it started off sweet and innocent. We'd guess things like teddy bears and all that. Then after a few rounds, he'd make it extremely not safe for work very quickly. And I remembered one of his answers was quite literally just his dick. Classic. What a disgusting fuck. Okay. There were other things that he asked me to play, but by far one of the worst was the My Eyes Only game. This is like a frequent thing. How it worked was he would tell me the amount of pictures he had in My Eyes Only. At the time, I believe it was 230 to 300, and he'd tell me to pick a random number up to the max amount of photos in there. Then he'd make me do the same thing to him. Oh, tell him My Eyes Only amount, etc. I remember that I never had pictures of mine, and I told him I didn't have any once, to which he responded with anger, saying I need to play the game right and not to lie because it was disrespectful. I ended up making a number up instead. Then he'd use this as a sort of a threat. If I did something he didn't like, he refused to call or send pictures of it, he'd say the number I picked along with I'll send it or something else threatening like that. He would threaten people by saying he would send images of himself. What the fuck? He'd also say that if I did things he didn't like too much, I'd have to send my picture to him. Eventually, I gave in and do what he wanted. He'd also force me to send nudes and call him. I remember I once sent him a mirror selfie in a red hoodie and black leggings, and he kept begging me to take it off and send him a picture. He would also ask me to wear things like skirts, fishnets, no bras, etc., and send him pictures. Dude, you know, I wonder, because like when I think of a skirt, a lot of times, like there are adult skirts, but a lot of times I think of like a schoolgirl, like a young girl outfit. You know, like, oh, a skirt, not like a dress, but like a skirt. It sounds like something you would associate with being young. And the reason I bring that up is like it seems like he's always asking for skirts. This is like the fourth time we've seen the skirt shit. So it seems like he likes young girls that dress young. Skirts, no bras. I don't know about fishnets. I don't know if I'd say that's associated with being young. But the other things, absolutely. We're talking about jikishi being a predator. I don't have any of these on me, so I declined. But he was always disappointed and would guilt trip me to sending more pictures eventually. He also kept asking me if I had Discord, which I didn't at the time. I wasn't allowed much social media as a kid, so Snapchat and TikTok were my only platforms at the time. I'm not letting my kid have fucking anything. Let me tell you, after hearing all this shit, no. I'd fucking catch a charge too if I found out my kid was talking to this, because that not from my kid, but whoever they were talking to. You know what I'm saying? He'd beg me to get in Discord, saying it's easier to use and such, but I never did. At the time, as time went on, everything continued to get much worse, and he would start to send me random unsolicited photos of his dick. I remember seeing the first picture he ever sent of it and nearly throwing up. I was with my family at the time. Yeah, interesting, because we've already established this pattern where he would say he'd send inappropriate pictures to people as a punishment, which means to me that it's possible that he didn't get what he wanted or something, so he sent the picture as like a threat to this person in an inappropriate time. He would continue to do this at random with no explanation as to why. When I eventually got the nerve to ask him, his response would be, I'm sorry, I was drunk and horny. Help me out, or something along those lines. Around June or July 2020, I deleted my Snapchat account, and the app as a whole. This was not just because of him, but it was a reason, and I couldn't bear to look at the messages any longer. I didn't have him added on anything else, so I just left the account, deleted, and moved on. I then got into the DSMP fandom in January. of this year and remembered being in a raid to him from Dreams Discord podcast. I followed him at the time, not connecting the docs, and that was the last time we interacted. Thank you for listening to my story. Unfortunately, as this all happened on my new, now deleted Snapchat account, I do not have any evidence from it. I had screenshots from last year, but home events happened and my entire camera roll was deleted. I am so sorry that I didn't have the evidence to prove this. It pains me so deeply. I'm sorry. Please make sure to upload and support survivors. If anyone else has a survivor and needs something to talk to, or is a survivor and needs someone to talk to, don't ever be scared to reach out. Holy shit. I think that was the last one. This is fucking insane. This is one of the worst. This really is one of the worst that I've ever seen. Let's see. So people have more information here. So let's see. Where did you guys send that information that you guys had? Oh, we still have this. Where did you guys send that info that you sent? What is this sound that I'm hearing? I'll look into it later. It's like when I click on... It's bizarre. I don't understand. That was a lot. So somebody said that there's more information. You went private and deleted stuff. Yeah, I figured. Let's see. This is something that this guy Hunter has. Okay. So just making sure we aren't smashing when I visit. Shake my fucking head. That was a no. We just see how it happens. Let's see. Recently with messages. As long as this message in exchange of news started when she was 13. So she was 13 to say he wanted to meet up. When she was 15, he was 20. So he would have been 18. They were 13. Yeah, still gross. The accuser spoke up with jikishi recently. Okay. Oh no, why not? That was a no. Okay, so he's trying to pressure a child into fucking him. You're so old. What the heck? What do you mean? I'm not that old. You are. You're about to be 20. That's crazy. It's fine. I also just need to work on being less horny by the time I visit. Thanks. You have a cute butt. Anything else? What the heck? Sorry. Okay. What the heck? Not a thought. Yes, you're a thought. Shut up before I send nudes. Hi, thoughty. Case sending nudes. Oh yeah. So he seemed to like send nudes as like a fucking thing. Yeah, I think we have geez, dude, this guy's disgusting. Not Jaden. This is the video I watched to bounce off this. This fucking jikishi guy. Yeah, so I should definitely okay, I guess there's really no picture. There's like no pictures of him left. He's like erased himself from the internet. Why is there, dude, I'm not trying to be weird, but why is there like always an association with people who use like images like this and fucking being a predator, I feel. Alright, well, this guy's a fucking scumbag. Thank God he got the people, at least he got deplatformed. But it seemed like the platform, he needs to go to jail. This is somebody that has a predatory habit. They make like a habit out of, this is a patterned habit. This is somebody that needs to get like, needs to go to jail.